So it's the night before we summit Mount Katahdin and staying at the A-Ball Bridge campground. And I got the whole cabin to myself. I figured I was done with staying in a tent. 114 days of 114 nights of staying in a tent. And I was like, you know what? I'll pay the extra money. So it is a bunkhouse. You can see there's the door. There's 2 bunks. 2 more bunks. And then there's the 2 bunks here. And there's my pack hanging over there. So they had hard seltzers here. So I got a 12-pack of hard seltzers. I'm hydrating for tomorrow. That's a joke. But then if you've seen, I got a Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew. Got my caffeine for the morning. And then I got all my stuff laid out. I actually got to do my wash. After the 100-mile wilderness, that was, oh my God. You don't realize that your socks and your underwear, once they're covered with sweat or rain, whatever, they start to add up weight. So it's nice to be able to wash them and dry them, let alone the pants. The pants had mud up to the inside of the knee. The way when you're walking and you're hiking, it just tracks up. So I can actually go up to the mountain tomorrow and look somewhat presentable, hopefully. But looks like we're going to step off at about I want to be hiking by 6:30 latest. So I'll get up about 5, make breakfast, the usual oatmeal, and then I will head down the first 10 miles, and then that's where I get my new number and I register, find out where I'm at with the summit. When we got to Harper's Ferry, it was 176, so I'm thinking it's going to be about 130 to 140 probably. I know a lot of hikers fell back, and also I took some 0 days, so, but it should be pretty interesting. And this is just my this is really just my night before video. I don't know, this is probably more for me in the future so I can remember, because you make so many memories on trail, and you each day is just thousands and thousands of memories that you're making, and it's hard to recollect everything if you don't write it down or record it, and there's only so much you can write down. So I'm recording this so that I can remember. And met a few section hikers today. They're all in their 70s, and it's really sweet. They just finished a 100-mile wilderness in 8 days. And I was telling them, they're like, well, how long did you take? And I was like, well, technically it was 4 days. It was 3 full days and 2 half days. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. But, I mean, in the 100-mile wilderness is really not hard if you can hike big miles. Not a lot of elevation after the Whitecap Mountain going northbound. Going southbound, once you get to the Whitecap Mountain, you got about 35 miles of, a little bit of mountains, but it's nothing compared to New Hampshire. As I said in another video, New Hampshire led up to all this hype. 100-mile wilderness, not so much. The bugs, okay. The mud, okay. The 100-mile wilderness is filled with mud and bugs. The mosquitoes were insane. It was like, I don't know. I never thought I had good blood like that for the mosquitoes. They never come after me, but in the 100-mile wilderness, those mosquitoes came after me. And by the way, in Jersey and in the South, we got horse flies. We've got deer flies. We've got house flies. Up here, they have what they call moose flies. Okay, now I'm not kidding. A moose fly is like the size of your thumbnail. It's huge. And when I was back in Monson, this one woman showed me a mark. They literally, I seen one land on my arm, and I swatted it right away. You can literally see the stem coming out of their mouth. They literally go into your skin, and they literally take a piece of meat out. Like, not a big piece of meat, but like, about 2 to 3 size of a pinhead. And I was like, as soon as I seen one land on me, I hit that thing. I felt bad. I didn't want to kill it, but hey, I wasn't gonna let that thing take a part of my body away with it. Oh my god! And I'm not exaggerating. These things are huge. They're huge. Like the size of my thumbnail. It was huge. It just landed on me. I was like, oh my god, it's a moose fly. Which leads me also to, I did not get to see a moose on this entire hike. When I summit Mount Katahdin, I'll have over 2,200 miles. Because I started from Amicalola Falls. So technically that's 2,205 miles. And then I have 5 miles more to get down Katahdin, which is 2,210. But I did not get to see a moose. I got to see 2 bear in Vermont, 2 miles apart. The only bear, which I'm happy about. I only got 1 tick on my skin on my leg, and I felt it, so I picked it off. I wore long pants and long sleeves the whole hike. And I did not use any bug spray, no permethrin, nothing, none of that stuff. I didn't want any of that on my skin or my clothes until I got to New Hampshire. And I bought a little bit of bug spray just to spray on the top side of me, my outer shirt and my hat and stuff to keep the mosquitoes away, because the mosquitoes are really, really bad up here. But otherwise, yeah, no problems with ticks, no problems with bear. I really wanted to see a moose. I got to see the Grayson ponies many times when I was there, and that made me very happy. But yeah, I wanted to see a moose. I got to see a big wooden moose in Gorham, and I bought a shirt in Gorham, and I'm gonna wear it tomorrow to the summit. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna mail it back to Gorham High School because they won the Division IV state championship in baseball. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna honor this baseball team because anybody that knows me knows I love baseball, and I'm gonna send it back to them and just say, hey, I wore this shirt, from Gorham up to Mount Katahdin. Not the whole way, obviously. I switched out I had one other shirt, but I wore it many, many miles, and I'm gonna wear it tomorrow and summit Mount Katahdin and send them a picture back and just show them that anything's possible. You won the Division IV state championship in baseball, and I took your shirt to the top of Mount Katahdin. So I just maybe we'll touch one of the players. Otherwise, yeah. So I'm gonna try to get to bed pretty early tonight and get up early and make a video when we get to the top of Mount Katahdin. And it's been a great journey. Anybody that can do it, I highly recommend it. Number one, make sure that you're financially ready for it. Don't let your finances get in the way of a great journey. I never had that issue. Money was never an issue. So that was easy for me. But I really, really want people to think about that. Like, you shouldn't be out here worrying about if you have an extra $5 or $10, because if you do, that's going to just add to everything else that stresses you out here. Mentally, get yourself ready for loneliness. I mean, there's times on trail, like right now, I'm in this bunkhouse alone, but I'm excited because tomorrow's the last day. But there's times on trail that were so, so lonely. You're laying in a tent and going to sleep at night, and you're all alone, and it's a loneliness that you can't even imagine until you've been there for days on end in a tent in the middle of nowhere with complete silence. It's I don't want to say it's scary. I don't really get scared, but it's your nerves just constantly are on end, and then you finally fall asleep. And physically, I mean, you just got to do your best to get yourself physically ready. I mean, you can hike, you can run, you can do leg curls, you can do deadlifts, whatever you can do to strengthen up your legs. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to get you ready completely. It's your legs being strong is one thing, but over time, the muscle's going to degrade. it's really, really hard to take in that much protein to keep your muscle on. Again, I started at 177 and I'm down to 140. So technically 178, 179 probably. I ate good the night before I left. I'm down to 140. So I did not have much fat to lose. It's all muscle. There's no chest left. My chest is just gone. I can lay in when I'd lay in the tent, I could feel, I'm like, wow, I could feel things I haven't felt since like I was a freshman in high school on my chest and my stomach area, my lower torso, and it just looks weird, but that's a good thing. We'll gain it all back, but it will all be, turned into muscle. But keep that in mind when you're training that, you train smart, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get what they call your hiker legs out here, but nothing really gets you prepared for the dangers of the descents in the whites and the descents in parts of Maine. Uh, I like to call it kinetic steps, connecti steps. Connecticut had hundreds, thousands of just these steps. And it's not like the steps to your front porch or inside your house. They're not 6 to 7 inches. They're like 8 to 12 inches. So your legs are just getting worn out, worn out. You're carrying a pack on your back and you're just constantly just, your legs are just tired. You're going to be tired. I said that in one of my other videos that every one of us wakes up hurting. I've spoke to other hikers. Don't matter if you're 18 or if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Obviously, as you get older, it hurts more, but at the end of the day, everybody's feet are sore. Don't matter what kind of shoes you're wearing, Hoku, Saucony, Skechers like I did to prove a point, or any other of these, brands out there that are charging hundreds of dollars. Your feet are going to be sore unless you're doing like 5 miles a day. But if you're actually doing 15 to 30 miles a day, your feet are going to be sore. Your legs are going to be heavy. Your muscles are going to be tired. And just remember, we've all been there, and it's something that you just gotta gut through. It's tough. The first and second mile of the day are always the hardest. After that, everything goes away. It's kind of like they say, a body in motion stays in motion. Yeah, we take a lot of vitamin I out here, ibuprofen, Motrin, whatever you want to call it. But be careful with that too. Don't take too much. 2 at a time, 4 times a day is fine. 800 milligrams. Anything more than that, you might start. You don't want to infect your internal organs, but it helps with the inflammation because your body is just you're going through a lot. Whether you're hiking fast or slow, you're going through a lot. Those mid-eastern states, yeah, you're going to get a lot of miles in there. Northern Virginia, West Virginia, Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, they're all states that you're going to make miles in. Pennsylvania, Roxylvania, it's tough, but what I did was I had hiking boots sent to me in Harper's Ferry. The last 13 miles in Maryland is no different than Roxylvania. It's just rocks. So hiking boots are really smart to do for that roughly 250 miles. Pennsylvania and that little end of Maryland out of Harper's Ferry, because they have a lot more tread on the bottom. Whereas with your trail runners or any 3/4 height hiking shoes, they don't have as much tread on the bottom, so you feel every rock. Whereas with the hiking boots, you can step on a sharp rock and you don't even feel it. Really worked out well for me. Left them at my sister's, and then I put my trail runners back on. So just a little bit of advice, you can get that mailed right into the Harper's Ferry ATC like I did, and you leave them a little tip. That's what it's on there, recommend leave a tip, but either way, whatever. Just bringing it up because Um, yeah, Rocksylvania definitely, you definitely was a lot of rocks there, but it wasn't anything hard. Nothing about the trail is physically hard in the sense of anybody can do it. You know, it's physically, a lot of people have done it. Not that many people, but a lot of people have done it. So physically, it's not impossible. If you come out here, 350 pounds, eating, a box of Krispy Kreme donuts the day before, it's probably going to be harder. So you want to get yourself somewhat in shape before you get here. But you don't have to be, Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day, or Conor McGregor, or Lance Armstrong, or anybody. You don't have to be crazy in shape. You just got to be in decent shape, and the physical side will work itself out. I think the mental side is the hardest. That's where I didn't expect it to creep up on me in New Hampshire, because all the little things, it's just all the little things that add up. Your feet being saturated for 10 to 12 hours a day and just hiking in wet boots. And you look at your feet at the end of the day and you're just like, what is that? And your clothes are saturated, just saturated with sweat and rain. And then you lay down in a wet tent at night. And then you got to eat your, say, Nor noodles with tuna, or whatever you're going to eat, your ramen noodles, whatever you want to eat. I mean, none of it's that healthy at all. And then the bugs and your smell and just everything that adds up. It's all the little things. You look at your fingernails and you got dirt and nastiness under your nails, and just everything adds up. The little things add up, and you're just like, oh, what am I doing? And that's the mental side, And it's lonely. I highly recommend having a very, very strong support team in the rear. Have somebody that you can speak to that will listen to you and not judge you on your bad days. You got to have somebody that you can vent to and is going to listen to you. Somebody that knows what you're going through. Don't try to talk to somebody that doesn't run, hike, jog, or anything physical. You got to find somebody that actually has done stuff that you can actually say, yada 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 yada, and they're like, hey man, I know what you're going through. You got to gut it. You got to get through this. It's going to be better tomorrow. You know that. You told me before you started this hike, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. You got to have somebody that can talk to you and listen to you, and just understands what it's like to do something like this. That's not easy to find, but I highly recommend trying to reach out to somebody. Heck, if you know me and you're going to attempt to try to do something like this, please reach out to me and I will be there for you every minute of the hike that you'll be out there. I will always have my phone on if I know you're out there hiking. I definitely learned that you need somebody that that understands what you're going through. It's kind of like a fighter, To be a fighter's wife, I can't even imagine, you know. But the fighter's wife is so strong. Like she has to be strong, uh, just like a Marine wife, A really good Marine wife is just always there, and she listens. Um, and the same on the opposite side. If you're a man and you've got your woman out there on trail or doing whatever she's doing, in a competitive sports or something that's challenging, you got to be there for her. You got to be able to speak smartly, um, but not sugarcoat it. Because we need to hear that uh, everything's not sugarcoated, and that we asked to do this. We came out here on our own. Nobody forced us to, but we need to know that somebody back there is really truly supporting us and loving us. And I've seen it in a lot of hikers. They had really big support crews. One kid, um, well, a young man, he was an officer. He went to West Point, and his dad followed him the entire way in a camper. So basically, he slack packed the whole way. He was using a backpack, and he'd hike the camper every night. He slept in a camper every night. He had food, like meals made every night. That's a little over the top, but at the same time, you know, it just shows that like when you have a support system, anything is possible. Um, you know, some of the greatest men in the history of America had a strong woman by their side. And I'm sure it's the same thing with a woman, you know, if she's supported by a strong crew, she will be successful in any endeavor she tries to do. But anyway, I just digressed. I'm sorry. Getting late, getting dark, and looking forward to tomorrow. Katahdin is beautiful from the distance. I took a bunch of pictures from 13 miles out, from 25 miles out, and now from just across the bridge. And she is beautiful, mysterious, majestic. She is amazing, and every step that I take tomorrow, I will honor and respect the people that cherish her, and know that I'm walking on sacred land, and I'll do nothing to disrespect um, the land that these people cherish up here. I'll go to that sign. I don't need a bottle of wine or champagne or a beer. I just want to go to that sign and stand there and know that this journey has changed me. Love you all.